Hi, these comments are for SB. This is Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com. Thank you for completing your speaking practice test. I'm getting ready to listen to it right now. And I am Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com. Okay, here's the actual speaking rubrics. In your email, you said, Michael, please listen to evaluate score and provide feedback on my independent speaking practice test 5. So do you prefer to go to bed earlier at night around 9, or do you like to stay up until 12 a.m.? Provide specific details to support your explanation. All right, let's listen to the whole thing once. I won't make any comments at all. Then the second time I will make more comments.
Personally speaking, I would definitely prefer to go to bed earlier at night around 9 p.m. rather than 12 a.m. I would love to be an early bird rather than a night owl.
Good. Early bird, night owl.
Sleeping early helps me wake up feel fresh the next day. Also, going to bed earlier has been linked to several health benefits. I was just listening to a podcast that said that sleeping early helps someone improve brain's functioning. It also reminds me of my childhood for a year that when I slept early for an entire year, my grades were the highest in my entire school. In a nutshell, going to bed early is awesome.
Okay, so let's take a look at the rubrics. My first impression, I'm going to say 3. I don't think there's anything unusual that'll make it go higher than that. I think you had some problems maybe with pacing, I think, and sometimes your vocabulary it can be a little bit basics or somewhat what I call limited in the range of structures used. You could probably elaborate in some areas more than others, but I did like the example you provided about sleep and about your grades. I think that was a good example there. Okay, so let's listen to it one more time. So my first impression, usually this is my good impression is 3.0 out of 4, 23 points out of 30 on this practice test.
Personally speaking, I would definitely prefer to go to bed earlier at night around 9 p.m. rather than 12 a.m. I would love to be an early bird rather than a night owl.
Okay.
Sleeping early helps me wake up feel fresh the next day. Also, going to bed
Okay,
earlier.
wait a minute. So it makes you feel refreshed the next day. At that point, then you give the example. Say, for example, typically I go to bed around 9 to 10 o'clock. I get up around 6. And on those days with those sleep patterns, I have a lot more energy and I feel much more refreshed when I follow that sleep routine. So I think you can develop that idea
Has
more.
been linked to several health benefits.
See, that's a problem. It has been linked to several health benefits. It sounds like you're going to talk about different benefits of going to bed early, but you don't have that kind of time. What if you said, well, studies reveal that going to bed early has positive effects on the brain or is healthy for the brain? And then you give an example to illustrate that idea.
I was just listening to a podcast
Maybe there I would just say to illustrate or for example.
that said that sleeping early helps someone improve brain's functioning. It also reminds me of my childhood for a year that when I slept early for an entire year, my grades were the highest in my entire school. In a nutshell, going to bed early is awesome.
And the word awesome is not uh, I would say it's going to bed early is mentally and physically healthy, you could say, instead of saying awesome. So I don't think the word awesome is going to work very well. So be careful about using words that are not very specific and they're more colloquial. That's great, that's awesome, that's super, uh, excellent. I would avoid those kinds of adjectives in this type of speaking because they're not very precise. Okay, so I think based on what you did, I'm going to keep what I said before. I'm thinking around 3.0 out of 4, 23 points out of 30. You can improve a little bit with your pacing as it relates to your delivery, I think. But overall, you do vary your tone and you speak clearly, so that's a good thing. Sometimes your language use, vocabulary, and grammar can be a little bit basic, so be careful about that. And topic development, remember, try to limit your focus in what you talk about. But what you do talk about, be prepared to give or specify or elaborate more than what you're comfortable doing, like in this practice test. So it's all about focusing your ideas. You could just say that going to bed early has two different benefits on the brain, which is why I believe it's important to go to bed early and talk about how it benefits the brain. Maybe it improves a person's concentration abilities, and then therefore, because they can concentrate better on course materials, ultimately they will perform better either on the job or in a university classroom. So those are some comments on that. All right, thank you for completing this practice test.